Good morning, SKN. I'm Jamie Morris.
And I'm Cortensia Carty. And as we celebrate the last day of National Colors Week here in St. Kitts and Nevis, Jamie and I are being patriotic by wearing the color red, although I think I see a little red in his boutonniere, but yes.
I was wondering why you were saying that, because it's obvious that I'm not wearing red, and I don't have to, because the blood pumps through my veins. All right?
Petition blood. And red signifies the blood that was shed by or our ancestors' blood that was shed. We begin this morning with breaking news. This from the Office of the Medical Officer press release, the Chief Medical Officer press release. A few children under the age of 5 have been recently diagnosed with hand, foot, and mouth disease in St. Kitts and Nevis. Hand, foot, and mouth disease is a mild viral infection that is highly contagious, and it mainly affects children under 7 years of age, but anyone can get it. It is most commonly caused by a Coxsackie virus, but other enteroviruses have been implicated. The HFMD outbreaks occur commonly in summer and autumn in the USA. Hand, foot, and mouth disease may cause some of the following signs and symptoms: fever, sore throat, loss of appetite, drooling, and the child can become irritable and fussy. Painful blister-like lesions on the tongue, gums, and inside of the cheeks. So we have to be careful with the children. If this is contagious, then it can be spread amongst other children.
Exactly, and if you see the symptoms, report it as quickly as possible.
Yes.
Moving on to the latest in local news, this from ZIZ Newsroom. Staff and students of the Virchals High School adorned themselves in the school's colors, which are maroon and white, to commemorate the celebration of the institution's 30th anniversary. The celebratory ceremonies coincided with the return of students to the school on Wednesday, September 7th. Addressing the gathering, Minister of Education, the Honorable Dr. Jeffrey Hanley, extended congratulatory remarks to the staff and students of the institution on achieving the milestone. Minister Hanley said, quote, "The message I bring to you, Virchals High School, it doesn't matter where you start off, and it is how you end up. Take advantage of the education that is available to you. As you celebrate 30 years, you have a track record to go by. Your school has been excelling in just about all of the areas," end quote. Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, Marine Resources, Entrepreneurship, Cooperative and Creative Economy, the Honorable Samal Duggins, extended congratulatory remarks to his alma mater on its anniversary celebrations and thanked the first principal, as well as the previous staff members, for the pivotal role played in his growth and successes. Virchals High is 30, and incidentally, as I was on my way to work today, ahead of me, I'm waiting in the stop line, waiting at the stop sign, and there I see Mrs. Marilyn Rogers, who was actually the first principal of that school. Oh, nice. So 30, it's a sign. I work there, again a sign. Great to see 30 come about.
And congratulations to them and all their alma mater and their present students. We continue now. Prime Minister Dr. Drew appoints 2 new ambassadors, this from SKNIS. Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, the Honorable Dr. Terence M. Drew, along with his cabinet, has recently approved and appointed 2 new ambassadors to represent the interests of the Federation abroad. Her Excellency, Ms. Nurse Shiverton, has been appointed as the permanent representative to the United Nations in New York, and His Excellency, Mr. Donya L. Francis, was appointed as St. Kitts and Nevis ambassador to the Republic of China, Taiwan, to be stationed in Taipei. Both ambassadors will assume their new roles from this month, September 2022. Prime Minister Dr. Drew and his cabinet colleagues extended their profound gratitude to both former Excellencies Jasmine Huggins, who serve as St. Kitts and Nevis ambassador to the Republic of China, Taiwan, and Ian Liebert, who was the permanent representative to the United Nations, for their contributions and years of service to the country. Her Excellency, Ms. Nurse Shiverton, is a career diplomat who has served over 10 years as a senior official and foreign policy advisor in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Government of St. Kitts and Nevis. She holds a bachelor's degree in political science and law and society from York University, Toronto, Ontario, and a Master's of Arts degree in Advanced International Studies from the Diplomatic Academy of Vienna. To congratulate to the appointees and all the best in their roles.
At the risk of being facetious, is there anyone else who thinks that we need to change the word permanent when it comes to these things?
Yes,
putting that out there.
Really isn't permanent.
All right, so we are moving on by way of a Nevis Island administration press release. For women to be empowered, they need to have access to education as well as the freedom to start businesses. That view was expressed by Ms. Catherine Forbes, training officer at the Department of Gender Affairs in the Nevis Island Administration, the NIA. The event is being hosted by the NIA through the Small Enterprise Development Unit, CEDU, and the Department of Gender Affairs in collaboration with the Embassy of the Republic of China in Taiwan. She said, quote, "This is one of the initiatives through the Women's Empowerment, Entrepreneurship, and Financial Inclusion Project. For women to be empowered, they need to have access to education as well as freedom to start businesses. When women have economic and financial stability, it could only mean good things for the economy. My hope is that you are all empowered throughout the next 3 weeks and that you, in return, go out and empower other women," end quote. The program is part of the Republic of China on Taiwan's contribution to the economic empowerment of women in Latin America and the Caribbean. The post-pandemic initiative is meant to support women who see it fit to branch out on their own. The program is in its 7th and final cohort of the training and the 3rd session on Nevis. It's great news indeed.
Great news indeed. So for today's weather, there is a tropical update, and the Tropical Storm Fiona, alert upgraded to Tropical Storm Watch for the Leeward Islands. So a Tropical Storm Watch is issued when a tropical cyclone containing winds of 34 to 63 kiloknots or 39 to 73 miles per hour or higher poses a possible threat, generally within 48 hours. These winds may be accompanied by storm surge, coastal flooding, and river flooding. We can expect a change in a weather wind speed by Friday morning. And this was from cloudy with occasional rain showers, a high of 87 and a low of 77 degrees Fahrenheit. We do recommend that you pay accurate attention to your updated weather forecast, as the previous one I read that was from 11 p.m. last night. And we noticed the weather has changed drastically outside, should I say. It's 84 degrees Fahrenheit at this point. Take a look at the rest of the weather for the week. We see there will be a lot of rain and a little cloud cover here and there. So stay tuned, much more after this. And good morning, SKN.
These teen boys nowadays get me so upset. I see these teen girls with their big bellies and you want to tell me y'all couldn't protect her and yourself? Come on. Now don't tell me no stupidness about you feel embarrassed about getting a pack of condoms or asking somebody for one. That ain't nothing to be ashamed about. You should be proud that you are making a wise decision, but you still have to abstain from having sex with someone under the age of consent. If your boys are pressuring you to have sex and you don't want to, then don't. You are in charge of your life, not them. I heard another one saying it's sweeter without a condom. But my granny always told me, no glove, no love. So let me tell you something. It's sweeter to have money in your pockets and not have to support a child at that young age. Before I say anything else, the best way to prevent teenage pregnancy is to abstain. In other words, no do it. Let me talk to the big men troubling underage girls.
Why you sleeping with your daughter? You not live clean. Your girl at 16, and your daughter at 13. So girl a look me, but me no inna that. Big man no deal with back pamba.
You understand where I'm coming from, right?
This message was brought to you by Project Viola through the Department of Gender Affairs with support from the Basic Needs Trust Fund and the Caribbean Development Bank.
Children, how can you tell a tsunami coming?
Teacher me.
Sammy?
My mother said, when uncle jump in the pool and the water spoosh out, that's how you tell a tsunami coming.
Settle down, children, settle down. Do you remember our tsunami song?
Yes!
When you feel it shaking and it's moving around, you see the ocean gone left the fish on the sand. You should run to hide on a tsunami soon come.
Mommy, uncle not here in the other shake.
Hush your mouth.
Daddy, Uncle not here and the sea gone.
Who cares? You don't see all them free fish? Quick, give me the bag.
This is how you tell us tsunami a come. Teacher says so. I would have failed in school, you know.
Sammy, come, let me go. They would have failed anyhow. Let me run, see Sammy.
When you feel the earth shaking and it's moving all around, you see the motion gone, let the vision descend. You should run, run, run to higher ground, 'cause tsunami soon come.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. We continue now with the latest in regional news. Plans to host major disability conference gather pace. This from the Antigua Observer Media. Over $100,000 has been set aside for a major disabilities conference to be hosted in Antigua and Barbuda. The 5th CBR or CBID, Community-Based Rehabilitation, Community-Based Inclusive Development Continental Congress of the Americas will be held through a partnership between the Antigua and Barbuda Association of Persons with Disabilities and the Ministry of Social Transformation. The upcoming event will be held at the Royalton Resort from October 5th to 7th. The association's president, Bernard Warner, spoke about the significance of hosting such an event here and what it means to the disabilities community. Warner told Observer on Monday, and quote, "It shows that Antigua and Barbuda has matured and is moving towards an inclusive society where people with disabilities will be included in decision-making, policy development, and community life. It will also lend to a regional effort where, the first time in the history of the Caribbean, a congress of this sort will be held." End quote. Upward movements.
Absolutely.
Always
Inclusion is
good.
very important. I'm glad that we're seeing that in our neighboring territory as well. All right, moving on to the international scene. Iowa teen who killed rapist sentenced, ordered to pay $150,000. This from the Associated Press. A teenage human trafficking victim who was initially charged with first-degree murder after she stabbed her accused rapist to death was sentenced Tuesday in an Iowa court to 5 years of closely supervised probation in order to pay $150,000 restitution to the man's family. Piper Lewis, 17, was sentenced Tuesday after she pleaded last year to involuntary manslaughter and willful injury in the June 2020 killing of 37-year-old Zachary Brooks of Des Moines. Both charges were punishable by up to 10 years in prison. Polk County District Judge David Porter on Tuesday deferred those prison sentences, meaning that if Lewis violates any portion of her probation, she could be sent to prison to serve that 20-year term. As for being required to pay the estate of her rapist, quote, "This court is presented with no other option," Porter said, noting the restitution is mandatory under Iowa law that has been upheld by the Iowa Supreme Court. Lewis was 15 when she stabbed Brooks more than 30 times in a Des Moines apartment. Officials have said Lewis was a runaway who was seeking to escape an abusive life with her adopted mother and was sleeping in the hallways of a Des Moines apartment building when a 28-year-old man took her in before forcibly trafficking her to other men for sex. Devastating story. We continue this this talk about sexual violence and predators and all of this type of thing. And one of the things that I think that was most disturbing to me in the story is the fact that he did this to her. You know what I mean? She was vulnerable.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that the sentence seems to be appropriate.
It is somewhat, but she has to be very careful because anything could land her in prison for 20 years.
She has. And the facts, as I'm remembering them now, are basically that when she stabbed him, she did so when he was not posing a threat to her, an immediate threat to her, because he was sleeping at the time. And so the laws seem to speak to that in a lot of ways. And so it's just a very devastating story, but I'm glad at the very least that she is on probation. Hopefully she can redeem the rest of her life.
Yeah.
All right, well, there you have it for the latest for today. We will be back with the founder and executive director of Aspire Artemis and our very own Malia.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, Malia. Yes, and Tao. I'm excited.
You are clearly excited. You're skipping right along. So yes, we have those today and a whole lot more. We'll be back in a moment. Stay tuned.
Yo, this is your boy Smiley of the Grandmasters Band, and you're watching GMSKN. Hey, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, just make sure you're watching GMSKN. What up?
I eat some veggies for dinner. Let me just check the amount of sodium in this can. Oh no, this is too much. Let me try our next option. They did say it's healthy to consume less salt. This is much better. I am salt smart.
Dreamy Decor specializes in flowers for all events, from birthdays to weddings and any other special occasion. What's a better way to express to the people you love than by providing the finest selection of beautiful flowers and gifts? So when you think of flowers, think of us, Dreamy Decor.
Hey, my friend, what going on?
Not a thing. I just here cooling under this tree, about to eat a mango or two.
Where you get mango from all now?
Boy, Auntie Rose bring me some mango this morning.
Oh, gosh. What you hit me for?
You give me something to put on?
Girl, you can't just come tempting me with these juicy round pally mangoes and expect me not to want some.
Just because something looks appealing and you want it, doesn't mean you are entitled to it and that you should touch or take it. Your mother ain't teach you manners. Ask for consent first before you touch up the mango them.
But why ask? And if it's dear, it's dear. Just take it. Why ask?
Simple. If it is mine and you ain't asked for it, it is called, wait for it, stealing.
That's true. My bad. Okay. May I please have some mangoes?
I don't know. After that spectacle, I ain't sure I want to give you any.
You see that? But I ask.
Just because you ask doesn't mean I have to give. It is still my mangoes.
So what you tell me ask for then?
Because consent is everything. Had you asked first, I would have been more inclined to give you one. And just because you ask doesn't mean I have to give you. You got it?
Okay, I got it. Now, may I please have some mangoes?
Only because you're my friend and I like you. But that still don't mean you're entitled to it.
Okay, I get it. I get it.
Good. Don't leave your mango skin on the ground, eh?
If you understand the importance of asking for someone's consent for a mango, then it shouldn't be too hard to understand consent when it comes to sex. The power of consent is everything. Ask first. If you or a friend has been sexually assaulted, please call 465-5000 for the Counseling Center.
This message was brought to you by No Judgment SKN and sponsored by the Basic Needs Trust Fund, the Department of Gender Affairs, and the Caribbean Development Bank.
No cash, no card, no problem. Jad, embrace the freedom.
Today, we have the absolute pleasure to dialogue with founder and executive director of the Aspire Artemis Foundation, Hermina Johnny. She has worked with the UN, NGOs, royalty, heads of state, and ministers of government through a multi-stakeholder partnership approach to advance the sustainable development goals for the most vulnerable and disadvantaged populations. Our discussion will focus on the foundation's work and the upcoming event, Journeys in STEAM, Inspire, Engage, and Educate, scheduled for September the 21st in New York City. We will also be speaking with Malia Erskine, the Young Kittitian National selected to participate in the event and whose participation marks the first time that a Kittitian National will be represented there. Good morning, ladies, and welcome to Good Morning SKN.
Thank you for having us.
And we are pleased to
Very happy
have
to
you
be here.
both. You are welcome. So, Ms. Johnny, we'll begin with you this morning. When and how was the Aspire Artemis Foundation created?
So the Aspire Artemis Foundation was created in 2016 after several years of working in different sectors and seeing many issues that I cared very deeply about, discussed in a way filled with passion, but action was never taken. As a young woman at the time, I was very passionate, just like Malia herself probably is right now, and eager to get things done. So with a few colleagues, we decided to do some research into the issues that we were involved with at the UN, and to launch an organization. Originally, it started off as a photo book. The program followed afterwards. So the idea was to highlight the achievements of change makers, mostly female change makers, and then use that as a catalyst towards inspiring future leaders. Because we were a bunch of women who heard things said to be done for women and youth and didn't see it happening. So we decided to take action and formulate a program to deal with those issues as well. Here we are today, and I'm very excited to have embarked on this journey and to have gotten as far as we have.
All right, Ms. Johnny, I'd like to focus on your team for a moment. Who comprises your team?
So my team is made up of, volunteers, staff members from different sectors, from the public and the private sector, and former ambassadors, former UN staff, and as well as former civil servants. We're men and women just with a passion working on a mission.
Indeed. So what's STEAM? What's STEAM and what benefits do individual and communities derive from your high-impact STEAM program?
So STEAM, just simply put, is basically incorporating arts and culture into the typical STEM curriculum to spur out-of-the-box thinking and creativity and innovation. As I said, I was a young, passionate person, but some sides of us as human beings are not necessarily represented in the work that we do outrightly. But we know that our culture and arts and music and all of these things, they influence our decision making and they influence us. And so it's basically a new method of combining the humanities with the sciences to work together to create new opportunities and possibilities in the field of development.
Malia, you've been listening to all of that for a little bit. So as a beneficiary of the goodwill of the Aspire Artemis Foundation, tell us what participating in the upcoming event scheduled for September 21st means to you.
Well, I would consider myself a STEM enthusiast. So when I received the opportunity to participate in an event that is like as big as this, I was really excited, and I was just a bit overwhelmed and nervous right now because it's all happening. Like, this is really happening. You know, this is what I've been studying for, and I'm just really excited to meet other people who are just excited about STEAM as I am.
So I want to know, when you received that all-important call, how did you feel? How excited were you? Where was your mind? What was going on?
I won't even lie right now. I had just woken up from a nap.
Oh, okay.
And when I got the call, I was just like, is this a dream? Like, this person that I've never met before is calling me, and they're saying that they want me to participate in this event. They want me, you know, of all the persons they could have chosen in St. Kitts, that they called me, they chose me. So I'm really grateful that I was chosen to participate.
All right, so I'm going to put you on the spot for a little bit, Malia, a little longer, just a little longer. All right, so you are going to this event. How much information were you given about the foundation at the time?
Well, when she mentioned it, she mentioned it and she kind of just speed through, you know, with just letting me know that this is what's happening and this is what's going to happen. But then, you know, she stopped and she asked me, have you heard about us? And then I'm like, no, I haven't heard about it. I heard about you guys in St. Kitts. I haven't heard about you guys in the classroom. But then after having received information, because she had sent me a document, sort of, and I'm reading through it, and I'm like, you know what? I am all for this organization. I love what they're doing. I am with their mission, and I understand their goal.
Ms. Johnny, when you hear Malia say that she is pleased to be a part of your work, what does that mean to you?
Sorry about that. You know, it means the world to me to hear the passion of a young person for, you know, this work that we think is very, very heavy and you know, something that young people are not interested in. You know, we make assumptions that young people don't want to take an active role in their societies. They don't want to take an active role in changing the way they're educated. But for me, you know, young people have always been at the forefront of change. You know, any world leader has that we can think of, Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, these people were very young when they started changing the world. And so I don't know why we stopped listening to young people. I've always been passionate about, you know, the depths of possibility for change that we could accomplish, you know, with the help and the guidance of young people. For me, I'm just very proud and humbled by this, you know, young person who, you know, young people are very honest and judgmental. So to be excited about something like this, it brings me a tremendous joy.
Well, the joy radiates.
Yes.
I know it
On
radiates
both
in Malia's
sides.
face as well. So
Yes.
definitely. And we'll
Yes.
continue this conversation in a moment. Stay tuned, everyone.
These teen boys nowadays get me so upset. I see these teen girls with their big bellies and you want to tell me y'all couldn't protect her and yourself? Come on. Now don't tell me no stupidness about you feel embarrassed about getting a pack of condoms or asking somebody for one. That ain't nothing to be ashamed about. You should be proud that you are making a wise decision, but you still have to abstain from having sex with someone under the age of consent. If your boys are pressuring you to have sex and you don't want to, then don't. You are in charge of your life, not them. I heard another one saying it's sweeter without a condom. But my granny always told me, no glove, no love. So let me tell you something. It's sweeter to have money in your pockets and not have to support a child at that young age. Before I say anything else, the best way to prevent teenage pregnancy is to abstain. In other words, no do it. Let me talk to the big men troubling underage girls.
Why you sleeping with your daughter? You not live clean. Your girl at 16, and your daughter at 13. So girl a look me, but me no inna that. Big man no deal with back pan back.
You understand where I'm coming from, right?
This message was brought to you by Project Viola through the Department of Gender Affairs with support from the Basic Needs Trust Fund and the Caribbean Development Bank.
Where are you going? I just mopped the floor and now the chair leaving marks all over the place. Come on, go in bed, see? Sometimes I just can't take you on.
Violence is expressed in many ways. Most, unfortunately, go unreported or unaddressed for many reasons. If you or someone disabled is being abused, contact the police at 465-2241, social services at 467-1314, or the St. Kitts Nevis Association of Disabled Persons at 465-2151, 663-9077, or 663-4116. This message was brought to you by the Department of Gender Affairs in collaboration with the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO.
Welcome back to GMSKN. We continue our discussion with founder and executive director of the Aspire Artemis Foundation, Ramina Johnny, and the young Kittitian, Malia Erskine, who will be traveling to New York City next week to participate in the Journeys in STEAM Inspire, Engage, and Educate seminar organized by the Aspire Artemis Foundation. All right, Ms. Johnny, I'll pivot to you right now. What is the connection between the foundation and St. Kitts and Nevis?
Well, on the very senior level of our foundation, we have Ambassador Rosalind Hazel. She's an ambassador at large from St. Kitts and Nevis. Also, I mean, it's a beautiful island, much like St. Lucia, where I'm originally from, and a small island nation similar to mine.
Small island.
Oh, yes. So, Malia, you have a lot to look forward to. I told you, Malia, that I was going to put you on the spot. So obviously we're talking to Miss Johnny, who presents herself as a role model for young girls like you who are engaging in STEAM, who are very interested in STEAM. Is there anything that you would like to ask her about her success in that field and how she motivates young people?
Well, you know what, that's a hard question, simply because I have many questions, because I mean, she started this foundation, she's put this all together, and she's doing all these great, amazing things. Like, I can't simplify it to one question, but I could try. My question to her would be, how and when did she know that this was the right journey for her?
Okay, so for me, can you hear me?
Yes,
yes, loud and clear.
Okay. So for me, I recognized that this was the right journey when I saw the smiles on the people's faces that I was actually impacted, and to be able to follow their journeys and see them thriving in their future careers as well. That brought me tremendous joy. I talked a lot about, you know, in my previous roles, whether it was at the UN or in the private sector or for government, it was always about talking and seeing papers and white papers being filed and things not being done. And I wasn't feeling or seeing the change, going to all of these high level meetings and not actually being a part of the change that I wanted to be a part of. You know, at some point in life, we recognize that some of us are the types of people, no matter what level we get at, we like to get our feet on the ground and, you know, get our feet wet, as we say. And I'm one of those people. I like to be in the midst of it. I like to be involved in the details. I want to see the people. I want to be on the ground. And for me, that's what's important, to feel happy in the work that I do. And sometimes, you know, I get overwhelmed because this is not an easy journey. I have to say, especially starting an organization for any individual, but for a woman and a woman of color, of course. On the days that I do, you know, feel sad, I think someone tells me about a project and I'm just animated and excited about doing it, no matter how I felt maybe 5 minutes before. So that's when you know you're doing what you love. You find joy in it.
I actually think I saw someone made a quote about this. They say you only get stressed. You get stressed when you're doing work, But then when you're feeling it and you're doing something you love, it's called passion.
Aw, that's so
Yeah,
sweet.
that's amazing. You're so brilliant.
I know, beyond the years. Aw. So, Malia, what do you hope to gain from participating in this event?
Well, I'd actually like to set a mark because I only now today hearing that I would be the first Kittitian participant, and I feel like that has some sort of pressure to it. So I'm
No
actually
pressure,
hoping to,
no pressure.
I'm hoping to learn a lot, of course, because I'm going to be surrounded by these people who, they have a lot to share, they have a lot to communicate, and in science, in STEM, that's a big thing, You learn something, you share it so that the entire community can grow and develop. I am hoping to network with other enthusiasts like myself and, just really find my place in STEM.
Miss Johnny, our Malia's...
The sky is the limit. My apologies for interrupting.
No, please go ahead.
But we just had a symposium in the British Virgin Islands, right? And we're all like bursting with, this was in April. We're all bursting with joy again, reliving something extraordinary that happened. Actually, it was a young girl just like you. She's 17 years old now, and she was in high school, and she participated in an encryption challenge put on by Microsoft, a big tech giant. And this young person solved this encryption challenge that not even, the proctor, the person administering the challenge, who had been doing it for several years, was able to solve. Wow. And this was a young high school girl living in the British Virgin Islands. Like, imagine what is possible for you. No matter how young you are, your brilliance shines through. And as long as you have guidance and mentors and, supporters and sponsors behind you and supporting you, the sky is the limit. People may tell you that, you shouldn't go and do something. Just ignore it. If you're passionate about it, just go forward.
All right, very quickly, Miss Johnny, I'd like you to explain the three-pronged approach that you use to bridge the gap between theory, policy, and practice. You refer to it as the EMI or the Emmy approach.
Yeah, I like to say one of my brilliant friends and coworkers came up with that because she's a former, actually talking about STEAM, she studied psychology and theater, and talk about that. She came up with this term because she wanted to be an actress, and then you think of it as getting an Emmy award, so being celebrated for your accomplishments, right? So it includes empowerment and engagement, but the E stands for education, which is very much a holistic approach to education. And then the M is, focused on mentorship, apprenticeship opportunities. So that means practical on-hands experience in a field so that you can decide whether or not this is something that you want to, pursue. So having someone who is a mentor really be able to guide you. And then the I stands for internship, apprenticeship opportunities, where, of course, you put into practice those practical skills that you learn from your mentor. And so for us, that addresses a full spectrum of development because, you educate, you upskill by building capacity, and you create a support system, a support mechanism to support this person throughout the journey, whether they're entering or re-entering the workforce as well.
All right, so I love the idea of the Emmy. Kudos to your coworker who came up with that. I love it.
Allison Kubak is her name. Yes, she's brilliant.
Great idea.
Go, Allison.
All right, well, we'll take another short break, but when we come back, we'll continue this discussion, and we lead out focusing, of course, on the Sustainable Development Goals, which you focus on at Aspire Artemis. We'll be back in a moment.
各位朋友，大家好. Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao, bango!
SKN, this is lyrical. I just want to say blessings to you. There are a happy place in the life if you live in there. A happy place in the life if you live in there. Cause them at a happy place in the life. And they can't change. And they just come out here to do right. So whether day or night, they will never ever change. Blessings, blessings, and blessings.
As we continue our conversation, we are once again joined by the founder and executive director of the Aspire Artemis Foundation, Hermina Johnny, and the youngest person at the age of 14 to be administered, as Jamie said, to a tertiary education here in St. Kitts. That's at the CFBC College. She's also a polymath, as I describe her, and a genius. Kittian Malia Erskine.
I was loving the dialogue, by the way, between you two ladies when we were at break, because I was asking Miss Johnny if she knew about your background, Malia. And Miss Johnny, you said one of the most inspiring things, I think, the most humbling things. You said that you were humbled to be in Malia's presence. Now, by way
yes,
of...
I am. Now I'm nervous.
know?
I'm talking to a genius here. No, I knew about her accomplishments, and young people need to be celebrated for their accomplishments, and I think we don't do that enough. At a very young age, our character is shaped, and it really echoes into the person that we become when we're an adult. And sometimes, one negative word or one small comment can really change someone's life for generations.
Absolutely right. And I love the way that you value
it echoes into their children, and there's just a whole psychology behind it as well.
Is that why you decided to focus on youth in particular, and women and vulnerable communities as well?
Well, actually, I studied I've always, for as long as I know, I've been interested in human rights. I am the type of person, people call me much of an empath. So I'm shy, but I observe people a lot, and I always really I was always really focused on issues that faced people who were really maybe bullied or faced any sort of wrongdoing in their lives. So I also studied international relations and focused on women's rights and gender affairs, and to learn about the things that were happening across the world that we saw in the newspapers or read about in school, and to sit back and think that there's something that we can do by using something as small as our voice. It really centered me into focusing on things that made a change and made a difference and was able to make an impact. And I think young people need to be aware of the power of their voices, and when they put them together, how much of an impact that can make.
Yes, indeed. So as we continue our conversation, Ms. Johnny, let us speak to the Sustainable Development Goals and the set that you would have chosen for your foundation to aspire to.
Sure. So I was very much involved in the SDG process. In Rio, I was one of the lead negotiators for water and sanitation, and at the time worked with UN Water and with the Department of Economic and Social Affairs. So these are issues that have I've been discussing and have been passionate about. And so when I formed the foundation, I wanted to continue focus on the issues that mattered to me, which of course is quality education, as I mentioned before, SDG 4, water and sanitation, because in some countries it's usually women and girls who have to walk miles for water, and something as simple as sanitation, not having proper sanitation can keep a young girl out of school. So the interconnectability of the SDGs, so gender equality, and of course when I was in school, I was very much from primary school all the way up to graduate and postgraduate studies, I was very much active in the communities. And something that I noticed in the communities that I volunteered in is that a lot of people were disenfranchised and maybe feeling lack of opportunity and possibilities because there wasn't conditions for decent work. So maybe it was, they graduated high school and they didn't know what to do with their lives and didn't have an access to an opportunity. So decent work and economic growth for me as DG8 is also important, and it ties into reducing inequalities as DG10. And sustainable development is, I'm passionate about the environment that I live in and around me. Of course, sustainable development and climate change are issues that matter to me. So sustainable cities and communities, and of course, all of the SDGs relate. So, for me, it's always about, we fought in the end to say, it's about partnership and partnership for the goals, and really, the fact that you can't really do anything alone. You need to partner together to be able to accomplish, what needs to be done for the development agenda. Really, the SDGs are heavy. There are, 17 of them with a lot of subsets. But what it's basically saying is be good, do good, and, follow the golden rule. Clean up after yourselves, help others, and be, do, and say good. And that's a simplified way of summarizing the SDGs. It's really development that is long-term and sustainable, and it's not something that just gets filed away, but it happens over time.
Right. So very quickly, Ms. Johnny, again, in speaking to the SDGs, how do you measure the impact of your work concerning the involvement of girls and young women in STEAM?
So actually, we measure the impact by how many young people start getting interested in pursuing actual careers and studying in STEM, and also the amount of voices that are augmented in the communities that we engage in, and we measure that through metrics as well.
All right. Well, there is one final question that we have for you, which concerns the speaker at the event coming up on the 21st of September. And one of the speakers, you have a lot of them, is our newly elected Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew.
Yes, I'm very excited about that.
Malia, how exciting is that?
Just overwhelming. Just purely overwhelming.
I have to applaud St. Kitts and Nevis. Because honestly, there's a young person leading your country. You have women, within cabinet, you have a new UN ambassador who's a woman. You're doing a lot for young people and youth. And I think this echoes, a lot of what I said earlier, that young people, when they put their voices together and speak up, they can, make action and make change. It's easy for us to complain about issues and say, this is not working. I don't like this happening in my country. But to take an actual step and exercise your right to vote and, put in the people that you want to represent the issues that you care about, or take out, or put in whatever the party. And, it's country first, and as an organization and as a diplomat, I'm always in the middle and saying, let's put the issues in the forefront. It doesn't matter what the party is, as long as change happens. And I applaud you for taking a step towards advancing the rights of women and girls by putting women and youth in positions of power. And that says a lot, not only for your community, but to the world, that these issues matter to you.
Well, thank you very much.
And Malia, any final words?
Well,
You sure?
yeah, it's just a lot to process, but I am very, very grateful, and I'm really excited to meet Miss Shani.
I am extremely humbled and grateful, it is me who is looking forward to meeting you, because everything that you have accomplished so far at such an early age is just tremendous.
So ladies, it was indeed our pleasure speaking with you this morning. We cannot wait for you both to meet, and we cannot wait to hear the conversation after your meeting would have concluded. Thank you so much, Miss Johnny, for taking time out and joining us today here at Good Morning SKN, and Malia, thanks as well. GM SKN Nation, stay tuned. Much more after this short break.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Hey, my friend, what going on?
Not a thing. I just here cooling under this tree, about to eat a mango or two.
Where you get mango from all now?
Boy, Auntie Rose bring me some mango this morning.
Oh, gosh. What you hit me for?
You give me something to put on?
Girl, you can't just come tempting me with these juicy round pally mangoes and expect me not to want some.
Just because something looks appealing and you want it, doesn't mean you are entitled to it and that you should touch or take it. Your mother ain't teach you manners. Ask for consent first before you touch up a mango them.
But why ask? And if it's dear, it's dear. Just take it. Why ask?
Simple. If it is mine and you ain't asked for it, it is called, wait for it, stealing.
That's true. My bad. Okay. May I please have some mangoes?
I don't know. After that spectacle, I ain't sure I want to give you any.
You see that? But I ask.
Just because you ask doesn't mean I have to give. It is still my mangoes.
So what you tell me ask for then?
Because consent is everything. Had you asked first, I would have been more inclined to give you one. And just because you ask doesn't mean I have to give you. You got it?
Okay, I got it. Now, may I please have some mangoes?
Only because you're my friend and I like you. But that still don't mean you're entitled to it.
Okay, I get it. I get it.
Good. Don't leave your mango skin on the ground, eh?
If you understand the importance of asking for someone's consent for a mango, then it shouldn't be too hard to understand consent when it comes to sex. The power of consent is everything. Ask first. If you or a friend has been sexually assaulted, please call 465-5000 for the counseling center.
This message was brought to you by No Judgment SKN and sponsored by the Basic Needs Trust Fund, the Department of Gender Affairs, and the Caribbean Development Bank.
Where are you going? I just mopped the floor and now the chair leaving marks all over the place. Come on, go in bed, see? Sometimes I just can't take you on.
Violence is expressed in many ways. Most, unfortunately, go unreported or unaddressed for many reasons. If you or someone disabled is being abused, contact the police at 465-2241, social services at 467-1314, or the St. Kitts Nevis Association of Disabled Persons at 465-2151, 663-9077, or 663-4116. This message was brought to you by the Department of Gender Affairs in collaboration with the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO.
So you mentioned something about a lump.
Babe, I just felt something on the left side of your breast. Tell me if you feel it.
Do you do your self-breast examinations monthly?
No, I don't.
Well, women are supposed to examine their breasts once monthly. Let me show you how. When at home, you can check while standing in the shower or while lying down. Simply place a pillow under your right shoulder and your right arm behind your head. Using your left hand, move the pads of your fingers around your right breast, gently covering the entire breast area and armpit. Use light, medium, and firm pressure. Squeeze the nipple and check for discharge and lumps. I did find a lump in the upper left breast. I am not sure what this means. Therefore, I need to refer you to the DMO, or you can see your private physician. The doctor is going to examine you and recommend an ultrasound or a mammogram. Listen, not every lump is cancer. 80 to 85% of the time, the lumps found are benign. That means they are non-cancerous. Lumps in the female breast or armpit can be non-cancerous tissue growth or fluid buildup, or a number of things that can present themselves at various times. But sometimes it's a sign of cancer. That is why I am referring you to see the doctor.
Okay, nurse. Thanks for your help.
Yo, what up? It's your boy and Richie right here at Studio 327. I'm here to give you the promo that you guys need, because this is something special for St. Kitts. I'm telling you, tune in to Good Morning SKN, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and on Moment Channel 4. Also, I realize nobody else is doing this. Follow the Good Morning SKN Instagram at Good Morning SKN, and the Studio 327 Inc. Instagram. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook. This is pretty long, but follow us, and yeah.
You ever hear Earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, Earthquake, I coming Tuesday around 10? No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it come, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the door, we are in the exit. Stairs might block up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that, because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner, and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH, drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors in an earthquake, bad news. Take care yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drop and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, nobody run outside and ask, you feel it, you feel it? Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop, and do the DCH, drop, cover, hold on.
Welcome back to GMSKN. The aim of SKN Moves is to create a healthy lifestyle culture centered on healthy eating practices, regular physical activity, and regular health checks and screenings. Today, we journey across to our sister island of Nevis, sort of, at least digitally, to find out about an upcoming event coordinated by SKN Moves, the Nevis chapter, and to find out also about a fun way to stay healthy. So we have via Zoom coordinator of the Nevis chapter of SKN Moves, Sheila James, along with committee member David Walwyn, Knockout Public Sector Representative Francisco Dorset, and Knockout Private Sector Representative James Weeks. Good morning. How are you doing today?
Good morning. Good morning.
Sheila, I see you're ready to knock me out.
Yeah. We're good, thanks.
All right. So why the name
Hello.
Knockout? And can you let us know how the challenge works as well?
Sheila?
Hello.
All right. It appears as though we're having some technical difficulties. We'll sort it out. We'll be back in a moment. We do apologize.
Sheldon!
When growing your savings, where you save matters more than you think. Dare to compare and see for yourself why you should start saving and investing at First Federal Credit Union. You don't have to settle for cents. Let your money make sense. Reap a higher return by stashing your cash in a high-yield savings account or term deposit and earn up to 4% interest on your money. At First Federal, we say yes.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. Thankfully, our technical difficulty has worked itself out, and we are continuing our interview with SKN Moves the Nevis chapter. So I want to know, lady and gentlemen, why the name Knockout? Why was that chosen? And can you let us know how that challenge works?
Okay, so the reason why I chose Knockout, because it's a knockout series over 4 weeks. So each week, persons will be eliminated from the rounds of an obstacle course. So that's where Knockout came from. I think it sounds dynamic and I think it's self-explanatory, but yeah, you're right to ask the question. It's a knockout round over 4 weeks.
I love your energy, Sheila. When we began, I said you looked as if you wanted to knock me out, so I got the message.
No, I'm the referee today. I'm keeping these two separate.
So this question is for David. David, when and where does the knockout take place?
When and where? It happens, well, presumably this Saturday, but it's tentative because of the rain, pending rain, the weather storm.
Okay.
So we may have to, we've decided to probably postpone it for next Saturday.
Okay.
But it will be held at the famous Fit Park in Bath Plains, Nevis. It's a park that we developed back in 2006 for these kinds of events.
Okay, nice.
All right, can we talk about registration for a bit? How many people are actually registered for the event now?
So this is interesting because originally we were looking for 32 persons to take part in this event. What we found was, you mentioned obstacle and everybody ran in different directions. We've managed to get 16. We've managed to get 16 persons. So it's 8 teams representing the public sector and 8 persons representing the private sector, and they will go at each other. They will both compete against each other in the quarterfinals, because the first round is the preliminaries, where we take the times, the fastest times, and the fastest 8 will go through and the slowest 8 will be eliminated on the first round. And then we go into the quarterfinals, and then the elimination continues until we get to the finals, where we'll have our first, second and third place winners.
Okay, lovely. So to the gentlemen on the end now, Francisco and James, how are your teams preparing for this event?
Ding ding.
Well, I don't know how the private sector is preparing, but public is ready and we're just waiting, basically.
Oh, nice. James?
Well, we're just hovering, you know.
You're just hovering.
Public, it sounds like you're in trouble.
I don't know why. I get the chance. I get the feeling that you guys are on your best behavior now because the referee is there. Take away the referee, and I'll probably be hearing some trash talk or things like that.
Yes.
Coach, James, you were smiling. Am I right?
It's called quiet confidence. It's called quiet confidence.
Quiet confidence. Oh, that's what it's called. I see.
Yes. Yeah, they don't want to give away secrets.
You see what happened is you see when David Manor shows up, everybody have a nice time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you get him angry, everybody disappears. we want to make sure that everybody come where they're supposed to be, and then we get angry.
Yes.
All right. I'm not going to say those are fighting words.
All talks.
But this is the energy. I'm sure this will translate to the participants here. All right. So how has the preparation been going? Yes, Sheila, you were saying.
No, I missed that bit. Sorry, could you just repeat?
No, I was saying that these are fighting words, and obviously I think that energy will transfer to the participants of the respective teams. So I wanted to know about the preparation of the teams for the event. Let's start with the private.
So let's talk to David, because David's been like monitoring the training sessions, and then we'll get you guys to talk about how their sessions have been going.
Yeah, so this past week we've been prepping the park, doing the landscaping, because we really want to make it a nice arena for not just the athletes, but also for the spectators. We are trying to organize some lights because this is our first night having a night event, because we really wanted to do it in the evening where it's a lot cooler. And we have also accommodated some athletes who wanted to come and just try the course out. They have done that. A lot of them find it a little more challenging than they anticipated. And so they kept, actually, there are some athletes who came every day this week because they're very competitive, and I guess they want to have a good showing. So that's pretty much what we've been doing this week, is just sort of accommodating the athletes and preparing the course for the event.
So Sheila, how does the knockout fit into the overall objective of SKN Moves?
Well, from day one, it was always about changing lifestyles and getting people active. And one of the things SKN Moves wanted to do from day one was to implement different activities to draw in different types of persons. So, for example, this is a highly competitive event. And we've managed to, I think we've got that in the bag with the competitors that we're going to have pushed forward for this event. The walk events are for people with all different abilities. So it doesn't matter whether you're 99 and 6 years old, you can take part in those events. We have the very competitive run relay event, which took place in March, and that's for athletes who actually do run for track clubs and so on. So and children, of course, we did the aquafanathlon for children 8 to 12-year-olds. So we're trying to garner everybody under the SKN banner for fitness and healthy lifestyles.
Okay. Well, there's much more to talk about after this. So, guys, ladies and gentlemen, I should say, don't go anywhere. And GMSKN Nation, stay tuned. Much more as we continue after the break.
Where are you going? I just mopped the floor, and now the chair leaving marks all over the place. Come on, go in bed, see? Sometimes I just can't take you on.
Violence is expressed in many ways. Most, unfortunately, go unreported or unaddressed for many reasons. If you or someone disabled is being abused, Contact the police at 465-2241, social services at 467-1314, or the St. Kitts Nevis Association of Disabled Persons at 465-2151, 663-9077, or 663-4116. This message was brought to you by the Department of Gender Affairs in collaboration with the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO.
So, Jamie, I have a challenge for you, or more of a question. So, should we go over for this knockout challenge?
I see that you're taking Sheila's stance because your hand is kind of high. Sheila, I need you to referee us here, okay?
So let's talk a bit more with the SKN Moves, the Sheila James committee. Member David Walwyn, Knockout Public Sector Representative Francisco Dorset, and Knockout Private Sector Representative James Weeks. So David, give us some more details about the challenge, including one called the mental challenge. What's that?
So for this event, we have 10 obstacles. There's probably about 21 obstacles on the entire course, but we're going to only use 10 for this particular event. And it starts with a burden run around the course. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the course, but we've made some man-made hills. So there's about 3 man. Yeah, so we have about 3 man-made hills. So that burden run is actually what the name implies, a burden run. And it's to sort of pre-exhaust the athlete before they get into the obstacle course. So from the burden run, they go into the tire hop, which is a little challenging because it challenges your balance and coordination all at the same time. From there, they move to the monkey bars. So we have lower body, upper body. So that challenges your upper body because you have to swing from one bar to the next. From there, they move to another balancing obstacle, which is the side walk on logs. And if you fall off, they'll have to just repeat the cycle over again. And then from there, they go into a water tunnel. This is basically about a 10-foot tunnel with water coming through it. From there, they go to about 10-foot logs, which is under and over. So they have to crawl under this log over one. That runs about 10 feet. And then from there, they go to a tire wall, which is about 10 foot. That tire wall is going to have some, we actually got in some landing beds for that one. So they should locate that pretty quickly. And then from there, they go to what they call a tire swing, which sounds easy, but it's very, very challenging to be able to move from one tire suspended in the air. Yes, and then from that, they move to a seated tire pull that also challenges your upper body coordination. From that one, they move to a rope swing. So you have to swing from one log to the next, which is often surprising for a lot of people because you hold on to this swing and you think you're going to be able to swing across. But when you find out you're holding your body weight, most people always find this very, very difficult. So it's not as easy as it may seem. And then from there, they move to the sled walk, being able to coordinate sled walk, and that's about 20 feet. And then they go to after all of that, we incorporated the tent because it's a little challenging mentally because you're exhausted. You've done this challenging course, and you have to open the tent. Well, first take your shoes off, open this tent, get in this tent, drink a bottle of water, and then come back out. It may sound very easy, but it's a little mentally challenged after you've exhausted yourself physically. So we thought it was nice to add that just for fun and just something to sort of challenge the brain.
I'm listening to you describe the obstacle course, and frankly, I want to know who did this. This is like obstacle course on steroids. But I love it.
You must think we're really cruel. We're not.
And you say that with that lovely accent. I can't possibly think that you are.
Yeah, this obstacle course it's really 4 acres of terrain, by the way. It's pristine, okay. 4 acres. So we spend a great deal of resource developing this obstacle course.
Yes, resources. Yes. And speaking to that as well, is this a sponsored event? And if so, what are the prizes, et cetera?
Yes, so we have to say a big thank you to Massa Assist. They're sponsoring the event, and it's the Cup Challenge, the Massa Assist Cup Challenge. So they will give 3 trophies, first, second, and third place. Also participatory medals. The Ministry of Health have actually sponsored the use of the grounds, and they will be covering the expenses for the volunteers and the Red Cross. So big shouts out to Massa Assist. They've come on board and they're thrilled to bits to be part of this event. They're also giving away T-shirts this year for the competitors, which is a real nice add-on. And of course, we'll be giving out our participatory certificates and our rosettes for SKN moves. So big shouts out to all those persons. Big shouts out to the Red Cross, because they're always there to assist, and hopefully we won't have any casualties.
I don't think you will. I'm not there, so I don't think you will.
But the mattress is there, so that's really good. But we've been really good. I mean, we've had very limited injuries throughout our events, and we make sure we try and look out for the participants' safety first. So all those will be employed. What else I can say? Special thank you to Natalie, who will be producing our late afternoon snacks for this event as well. And is anybody else that I've forgotten? Also, oh yes, Navy Springs. They're going to keep us hydrated throughout the whole 4 weeks. So shouts out to them as well. And anybody else who's been supporting us as friends and committee members, thank you very much. And especially to our participants.
So I'm going to allow the 2 gentlemen, the public and the private sector, to give each other a... Go ahead, David.
We miss, of course, Studio 327 for always supporting all the health promotion initiatives.
That's true. Thank you very much.
Absolute pleasure. It's our absolute pleasure.
We appreciate that shout out. So
Okay.
Francisco and James, can you give each other the final verbal challenge before the commencement of your event?
Uh-oh, fighting words.
Mr. Weeks is smiling already.
Well, James has told me that not because I go to the gym every day, don't matter feel like I have it lack, you know? Like he has done the course about 3 times.
Okay.
But what I like to tell James is I've been preparing for this all my life.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's see what you come up with now. What's the response going to be?
Yes. Mr. Weeks, what do you have to say to him and for yourself?
Well, my life is a challenge.
Uh-huh.
Every day is an obstacle, but I don't see obstacles. I just see stepping stone, and he's one of them.
Uh-oh. All right. I'm going to be watching you guys.
He got told.
Hortensia, before I forget, oh my goodness, how could I forget? Apart from the sponsorships, we always give prizes. Yes. And I want to say special thank you to, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. Dalil Warwin, they're sponsoring us 4 zipline experiences for the winner.
Okay, lovely.
The second place is Discover Sail experience for 2 persons, duration of 2 hours provided by Beach Edition, St. Kitts and Nevis Aquatic Sailing Centre. And then third prize from yours truly next door, a health package bundle for 2 persons, courtesy of Fit Wellness.
Oh,
so
lovely.
Additional prizes on top of the sponsorship package as well.
That's great. Community effort and, great results, great output. Love the energy, by the way, of the 2 teams. And thank you guys for coordinating this. I cannot wait to hear more about it. Good luck.
Yes, I can't wait for the conversation afterward.
All right,
we'll send you highlights.
Okay.
We'll send you highlights.
Okay.
I feel like I need a bell to end the segment. Feel it?
I think so.
Can you ring the bell? You got it. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure talking to you. Best of luck. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right.
Bye-bye.
You too.
We'll be back in a moment with more GMS Scan. Stay tuned.
Great news, everyone! SKN Moves is turning 3. And this year, we are going to celebrate bigly by bringing back the 7-week challenge. For week 1, we will focus on the importance of breastfeeding. In week 2, we will participate in the SKN Move anniversary walk. Week 3, let's watch the In Your Kitchen I Rep My Community competition finals. Week 4, a healthy drinking water challenge. During week 5, it's all about mindfulness and our mental health. And no, that's not all. In week 6, we will learn about self-care and management. The celebrations end in week 7 with the Caribbean Wellness Week activities, National Fruit Day and National Sneaker Day. Come participate, celebrate and enjoy. Join SKN Moves and let us move toward a healthier St. Kitts and Nevis.
These teen boys nowadays get me so upset. I see these teen girls with their big bellies and you want to tell me y'all couldn't protect her and yourself? Come on. Now don't tell me no stupidness about you feel embarrassed about getting a pack of condoms or asking somebody for one. That ain't nothing to be ashamed about. You should be proud that you are making a wise decision, but you still have to abstain from having sex with someone under the age of consent. If your boys are pressuring you to have sex and you don't want to, then don't. You are in charge of your life, not them. I heard another one saying it's sweeter without a condom. But my granny always told me, no glove, no love. So let me tell you something. It's sweeter to have money in your pockets and not have to support a child at that young age. Before I say anything else, the best way to prevent teenage pregnancy is to abstain. In other words, no do it. Let me talk to the big men troubling underage girls.
Why you sleeping with your daughter? You not live clean. Your girl at 16, and your daughter at 13. So girl a look me, but me no inna that. Big man no deal with back pan back.
You understand where I'm coming from, right?
This message was brought to you by Project Viola through the Department of Gender Affairs with support from the Basic Needs Trust Fund and the Caribbean Development Bank.
You ever hear Earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, Earthquake, I coming Tuesday around 10? No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it come, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the door, we are in the exit. Stairs might broke up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that, because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner, and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH, drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors in an earthquake, bad news. Take care yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drop and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, nobody run outside and ask, you feel it, you feel it? Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop, and do the DCH, drop, cover, hold on.
Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao, bango!
Has anyone ever touched you here, or here? Well, these are actually bad touches, not good ones. And so, if anyone ever touches you in these areas or anywhere else that makes you uncomfortable, you must say no, then go and tell. Say it with me. Say no, then go and tell.
This message was brought to you by the Department of Gender Affairs in collaboration with Probation and Child Protection Services, the Ministry of Health, and the Pan American Health Organization.
When growing your savings, where you save matters more than you think. Dare to compare and see for yourself why you should start saving and investing at First Federal Credit Union. You don't have to settle for cents. Let your money make sense. Reap a higher return by stashing your cash in a high-yield savings account or term deposit and earn up to 4% interest on your money. At First Federal, we say yes.
Yo, what up? It's your boy and Richie right here at Studio 327. I'm here to give you the promo that you guys need because this is something special for St. Kitts. I'm telling you, tune in to Good Morning SKN, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and on Moment Channel 4. Also, I realize nobody else is doing this. Follow the Good Morning SKN Instagram at Good Morning SKN and the Studio 327 Inc. Instagram. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook. This is pretty long, but follow us and yeah.
I wear a mask because I want to protect my child, but also I want to protect his classmates and his teachers.
I wear a mask because I care about the frontline workers who will have to work even harder if those around me get sick.
I wear a mask to protect my family. I wear a mask to protect you. I wear a mask because it is the right thing to do.
I wear a mask because I don't want to put any vulnerable individuals at risk, like my elderly loved ones.
I wear a mask because
we are all in this together.
A standing ovation. That's what our next guest was given after he developed this year's Independence theme, after he delivered, this year's Independence theme as the keynote speaker of the Prime Minister's Independence Lecture Series. Valentin Batiste, renowned photographer, author, and lecturer at Gutman Community College, CUNY, used photography to illustrate how nationals can refocus, recreate, redesign using this season of independence as our inspiration going forward. GMSKN, today, Professor Batiste is finally here in the flesh with us.
Yes.
He's going to explain a bit more. So it's good to have you here.
What a pleasure. How good and how pleasant.
Indeed.
It is
right. So you said that photography has been used as a means of escapism, confrontation, and healing. You also mentioned that confrontation was your favorite.
Yes.
Why?
Because think of the word confrontation. A lot of times we think of it as antagonism. And we need antagonism to live. We must face challenges in order to be our best selves. So the idea of confrontation for me with photography is that we get to confront, particularly because of my interest, the underrepresented African diaspora we get to confront some of the images. Let's say I grew up in the 80s, so like images of like starving Ethiopians. But then have you ever seen how beautiful Ethiopians are? Yes. Right? So if we make those kinds of images that confront the old, we get to rewrite the story. There's an old proverb, I'm not sure if it's East African, but there's a saying, until the lion tells his story, the tales of the encounter will always be told by the hunter. And if you think about it, right, the hunter comes with his long gun, and he'll probably say, look at the lion that I shot, you should have seen how he was jumping and I just moved out of the way. But the lion might say, I was resting under my acacia tree and this pale-looking beast came with this long stick into my territory. Two different stories. And so with photography, we're able to confront some of the old narratives and replace them with better stories, more dignified stories.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yes, plenty sense. So how did you make a connection with the theme, Tal?
Well, the theme is very personal to me. I mean, when you see things like that, and it's always these pithy kind of, every year in St. Kitts, when you have Carnival, when you have Independence, it's always like a rhymed couplet,
yeah,
right? But when I heard the theme, to refocus, to recreate, I think that I'm always in those stages and always in those states. So it was a natural connection, and then using a camera and you say refocus, I use manual lenses. So the idea of focusing to get what we want. And it plugs in for me with the idea of intentionality. Like I'm a very intentional person. My days are not casual. I plan things out. I know where I want to be. I know what I want to do. I jot things down. So the theme for me was of personal resonance.
I love your reference to humility. I know that it came up in your speech, and to be honest with you, when I listened to it, I was blown away by what you said. And I loved the fact that, although you were speaking to being proud to be Kittitian in division as well, you said humility was one of those things that was important. Why was that?
Wow, that's a good one. Humility, I think we're reminded to be humble.
Yes.
And I don't mean to be a coward or to be shy, but to know that much of what we have is accidental and incidental, meaning that those things are not of our making, right? So I'm not a particular height or skin complexion because I designed that. You've seen my mother and my father now, right? So I am a mixing of them. And for me to go around saying, well, look at how such and such I am, I didn't make that, but I can maintain it, right? But then at the same time, I could walk outside and, God forbid, walk into a tree and no longer have this face. What would I brag about then? And so it's important for me that even as I work on the things that I continue to work on, that I know that things can be taken away. And so I cherish those things, and I'm in a state of perpetual gratitude, hoping and working for the best, but at the same time knowing that a lot of things are not of my making, right? So I'm reminded to be humble.
I love it. When you said it, I automatically thought of a skill. I pictured it in that balancing act.
Yes.
It's so delicate, and it's so
Yes.
important to remain humble, as you are proud as well.
So we have a clip. So let's have a look at this time.
Civil servants, thought leaders, people from every walk of life. I speak to the gamut of our society. I say, whatever your thing is, dream big and believe in yourselves and the power to redesign yourself and your life. Move with intentionality.
What do you mean by your vision will speak and it will not lie?
My vision is speaking right now and not lying. The fact that I said, I will see you in studio.
Yes,
Right?
you did. That,
I
indeed,
did
it was
say
intentional,
that, right? So that's the intention. I'll give you a quick example. I just got back from Brazil. So since the last time we spoke, I've been to Brazil twice again. And I just got back from Brazil. And last summer, I work out in Central Park. I live right next to Central Park. So last summer, I saw a young lady pass me by. She had an Africa tattoo on her back. So I said something to her, and when she responded in English, I realized by her accent that she was Brazilian. So I said something to her. I asked her, like, que cidade, you know, Brazil? Like, where are you from in Brazil? And she said, Niterói. And I said, Niterói, is that near Rio de Janeiro? And she said, yes. I said, this is who I am, and I'm in jogging clothes. She's in jogging clothes. I said, this is who I am, and I would love, this is what I do, and I would love to photograph you in Niterói sometime. I'd love to photograph you, but not here in Harlem. I want to photograph you in Brazil for my book project. And she said, okay, you can try. I photographed her in Niterói 3 weeks ago. And she brought friends, and she said, I thought he was crazy. But look, he's here in Niterói, and I see he's the real, he really followed through on what he said he would. And so for me, that's part of the idea of being intentional. Set your goals and be precise with that vision. Try to be as precise as possible and work towards it.
How do you feel when you, or what gratification do you get when these things do come through?
Well, it lets me know that the work is divine. Like we talk about humility. I don't do this thing myself. It's a divine compulsion. And it's me living out that word that was birthed in me even before I recognized certain things about myself. Yeah.
All right. So in speaking to that quotation again, your vision will speak and it will not lie. Obviously, you were here as a keynote speaker for the independence celebrations. We're celebrating 39 years. You're speaking to everyone who's petitioned and the vision, but also speaking to governments.
Yes.
How is that applicable to governments, in your estimation?
Well, governments typically and politicians, they typically put out manifestos, right? This is what we will do. So manifesto, it's related to the word manifest. Manifest means to make real. Yes. Man, you know, the things with the hand. And it's applicable to politicians because if you say something and you have the vision for it, why not do the things to make those things happen, right? If you've made these promises to the people, you should do everything in your power to the integrity of the office should compel you to make that vision real, to make it not lie.
There's so much to say, so much to unpack. We'll continue this discussion in a moment. Stay tuned, everyone.
You ever hear Earthquake call and say, hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, Earthquake, I coming Tuesday around 10? No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it come, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the door, we are in the exit. Stairs might block up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that, because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner, and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH, drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors in an earthquake, bad news. Take care yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drop and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, nobody run outside and ask, you feel it, you feel it? Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop, and do the DCH, drop, cover, hold on.
We're having a thought-provoking discussion with Valdan Tao Baptiste, the featured speaker at this year's Prime Minister Independence Lecture Series. So how does patriotism fit into the context of the independence theme?
Patriotism, personally or as a whole? Maybe both.
I was going to say you can speak on both.
So personally, I think that patriotism isn't about like just waving a flag. It's like, what good can you do from the place that gave you life. And so for me, patriotism personally is not just like being in New York and people say, where are you from? St. Kitts, Nevis, right? But patriotism is like, what type of ambassador of the country can I be in those spaces? Like someone say, oh, I never met someone from St. Kitts. Well, maybe someone will say, well, I met Tao and he's this. And Kittitians are like that, you know? So that means a lot to me in that way. But on the personal front, on the collective front here, I think that people here, we here, need to do as much as possible to just make St. Kitts and Nevis an excellent place. I mean, there's just so much here that is good going into great and can really be excellent. But if we kind of like hunker down, study, I alluded to the point of studying last night, yes. Study to make it, show yourself approved. But if you study the things that you love, and if you study other countries in the Caribbean, if you study other cities, like I told you, I just got back from Brazil, but I'm in Rio de Janeiro, I'm looking at all the great engineering, how they cut through all these mountains, 2-mile-long tunnels, and I'm thinking like Old Road Bay, and like what we could do to, you understand what I'm saying? So to me, those are the ways that you can really be a patriot, not just by waving a flag and talking about the land that you love, but doing things to boost the land that you love.
That seems to be a recurring theme today, the idea of action.
Yes.
Right? So you have to follow through with your words.
Yes.
You need the vision, of course, but you also need the execution. And you also need confidence.
Yes.
So what would you say to somebody who is not as confident as you are about doing the things that you speak to exhibit or manifest patriotism?
That can get quite deep because confidence is a spiritual thing. It is a spiritual thing, and if you know who you are spiritually, it comes out, right? And of course, we live in a world where a lot of people might not know who they are spiritually, but there's a lot on the exterior because we put the face out there. And so we have a lot of really very insecure people who look confident. But if you get to know them behind the screens and the Instagram and all that, you realize that they lack confidence. Now, personally, I would say, if it's about doing a thing, study as much as possible. Look into that thing as much as possible. Practice it. Practice it. Like even something like, hey, I am beautiful. What can you do to actually be beautiful in your eyes, right? Is it spiritual work? Is it mental work? Is it physical work? Is it a commingling of the three, right? Do you need to work on all three in order to develop that confidence? But if it's a particular skill, I would say, like, young ladies asked me last night about photography and wanting to get better, and I would say, shoot every day. Shoot as much as possible. You will get something, and you can trash the trash and keep the 1 or 2 bits that are excellent and remodel those.
I remember you saying that. Yes, it's really true. It takes dedication and commitment.
Yes.
So I have to speak on this. The Prime Minister mentioned that you are both children of Rastafarian parents, and you are both accomplished young men now. Yes, I do stress on young. So how does that resonate with you?
It was personal resonance because my father was in the crowd, right? And I just bought him a new hat. So I mean, he wasn't on camera, but and I know the Prime Minister's mother. In fact, I made a portrait of her years ago, and I mean, she's just so unapologetically herself. And I think that coming from particular roots, we have to be proud of the best parts of those roots. And it also speaks to the way we need to decolonize the way we think about who can be what, based on appearances or religious thought or eating habits. We need to really change the way we think about what someone can be because of where they came from or how they look. So what the Prime Minister was really speaking to is that you can come from particular roots, roots that might be peripheral or on the side or not high society, and still do well. And I think that our young people need to hear that message over and over. It's not where you started, it's where you wind up.
Exactly. We're going to continue this discussion after this break. Stay tuned, everyone.
morning. Good morning. This is Kayana Paris and Zippo from Paris, Vermont. I want to encourage y'all to sign on to Good Morning SKN every morning from 8 to 10 at Studio 327. Thanks.
Hi. If you are a smoker, please pay attention to this message. According to the World Health Organization, there are 1.3 billion smokers in the world today, and tobacco kills 1 out of every 2 smokers. Did you know that there is enough nicotine in 5 cigarettes to kill an average adult if ingested whole? There are more than 7,000 chemicals in tobacco smoke, of which more than 250 are known to be harmful. More than 69 are known to cause cancer, and 16 are classified as Group 1 carcinogens. Smoking kills. Are you ignoring that warning every time you smoke? Please stop. Smoking can lead to severe health complications and even death. It affects almost every organ in the body, especially the lungs and heart. It raises blood pressure, increases blood clots, and increases the risk of stroke, heart attack, and cancer. It is hard to quit smoking, but it is not impossible. Don't let tobacco destroy you. Remember the 4 Ds to curb your tobacco cravings. 1. Delay. Set a time limit before you decide to smoke. 2. Drink water. Go get a drink before you do anything else. 3. Do something else. Have a goodie bag handy of other things to do. And 4. Deep breathing. Take at least 10 deep breaths every time you think about smoking. Quit smoking and live a longer and happier life. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health, St. Kitts and Nevis.
We are back with Professor Valentin Batiste, who gave us food for thought at this year's Prime Minister's Independence Lecture Series. I was just speaking to you about the fact that your presentation was interactive, visually appealing, and that I've never seen anything like that at an Independence Lecture Series. And it was quite captivating, to be honest. As a matter of fact, there was one particular point I alluded to when you, being the photographer that you are, said that you wanted to photograph the people who were in the audience, and you asked for a sheet to be passed around. And when you did that, I noticed that there were so many young people who were so engaged by what they had seen and heard that they were willing to offer themselves up for, let's say, sort of a legacy, 100 years, as you said, to be shown in the National Museum of all places. When you saw that, the level of engagement, what came to your mind? Was that expectation? Was that an expectation that you had? I know you said you were intentional.
Yes. Yes. I approached it with a certain level of, I've shown this work, people see what I'm about, they'll respond. But I also believe that I'm here, these people are mine, they know that I'm theirs, and so they'll respond in kind. And in laying out the idea of presenting this work, posterity, National Museum, National Archives, like we need those kinds of things. And even if they don't exist, I'm speaking them into being. And we hand this country to these young people. I mean, the positions that you're in now, some of these young people will be in 30 years from now, 20 years from now. And I trust that they see that. They see the goodness of my intent. They see the usefulness of my intent. And so people plug into that. When people can see goodness for themselves and usefulness, utility, like this is a totally useful project. And even as I envision it, so I travel widely. I see what people like to see in other places. Every country that I go to museums and galleries to see what the people are about. People who come to St. Kitts and Nevis, they want to see those things too. People don't just want to buy a Irie Man, T-shirt. They can get that in any island, right? But what is intrinsically Kittitian and Division? Who are these people? And so the idea is to collect some of our spirits visually and have people come and be able to tap into those spirits later on. And I believe that the young people in our nation recognize that. Like, don't underestimate our young people. And they want to be a part of that. This is a visual time. So it worked out well.
Sure, worked out well. And you got a challenge last night. I have to speak to this challenge. I cannot let it pass. How will you handle that challenge?
Repeat that challenge for us.
Setting up the young people. From Michelina.
Oh, that was such a beautiful...
that challenge.
That was beautiful. I loved it. Well, yeah, I'm setting up the young people. I'm complicit. I'll go right along with what she said. Setting up the young people to challenge and topple the old colonial ideas that they can't wear their hair naturally to school, can't have dreadlocks, and not be what they're supposed to be because of an old colonial prescription that black and people of African descent needed to have, like straightened hair, or cut your hair a certain length, otherwise you can't be such and such. My hair is probably longer than anyone in the room, and I'm what I am.
Yes, indeed.
Right? So, and it doesn't diminish me. In fact, it probably adds to who I am. And so when Michelina put out that challenge, and you need to get me in touch with her, when she put out that challenge, I said, yes, well, okay, you think I'm setting up the young people? I'm setting them up to be their best selves, but we're also setting up the government to do something about policies in schools. So it was a total setup. I'm guilty.
Of the setup.
Guilty as charged. But it had to be said because I feel like there's a level of connectivity with your work as a photographer and your speech. There is that connectivity that I see with you dispelling stereotypes, going beyond the surface. Even in the photos that you showed, there was one of, I think it was a black Puerto Rican. And you talked about the story. I was reading some of the words that were on the slide, and I thought, but these are untold stories, and you're challenging perceptions, and you're doing all of these things as we were talking about independence. I mean, how fitting.
Yes.
How fitting.
Yes. Yeah, very fitting, because even as you mentioned the word independence, let's plug into the idea of independent thought and what independence really means. I mean, not just on a national level, and independence. As we look, I mentioned the social milieu. If we look at what's happening in the Caribbean, places moving and getting rid of Britain and moving towards republics and so forth. I mean, that's going to continue to happen, right? But then, as individuals, how do we think more independently? And I also, to that end, I talk about decolonizing the mind. If you decolonize your mind from some of the infestations that have been put in it by other sources, you will become more independent.
It's a brilliant point. Great way to end, because that's a challenge to all of us.
Yes.
Wise words, Tal. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
For your words, and thank you for your time. Much appreciated. We'll be back with more GMSKN in a moment. Stay tuned.
Did you know that there are certain seasonings that contain more salt than you actually need? There are more natural, healthier ways to reduce the salt intake in your dishes by using natural things like onions, garlic, seasoned peppers, and even thyme and merengue powder.
I eat some veggies for dinner. Let me just check the amount of sodium in this can. Oh no, this is too much. Let me try our next option. They did say it's healthy to consume less salt. This is much better. I am salt smart.
Good morning, SKN. This is Lyrical. I just want to say blessings to you. There are a happy place in the life if you live in there. A happy place in the life if you live in there. Cause them at a happy place in the life. And they can't change. And they just come out here to do right. So whether day or night, they will never ever change. Blessings, blessings, and blessings.
When growing your savings, where you save matters more than you think. Dare to compare and see for yourself why you should start saving and investing at First Federal Credit Union. You don't have to settle for cents. Let your money make sense. Reap a higher return by stashing your cash in a high-yield savings account or term deposit and earn up to 4% interest on your money. At First Federal, we say yes.
Has anyone ever touched you here, or here? Well, these are actually bad touches, not good ones. And so, if anyone ever touches you in these areas or anywhere else that makes you uncomfortable, you must say no, then go and tell. Say it with me. Say no, then go and tell.
This message was brought to you by the Department of Gender Affairs in collaboration with Probation and Child Protection Services, the Ministry of Health, and the Pan American Health Organization. Dreamy Decor specializes in flowers for all events, from birthdays to weddings and any other special occasion. What's a better way to express to the people you love than by providing the finest selection of beautiful flowers and gifts? So when you think of flowers, think of us, Dreamy Decor.
Yo, this is your boy Smiley of the Grandmasters Band, and you're watching GMSKN. Hey, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, just make sure you're watching GMSKN. What up?
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. We are all about independence here, Independence 39 in St. Kitts and Nevis, and of course, our celebrations would not be complete without having you hear the national anthem. So with me right now is Nicholas Petty, and he will sing our national anthem for us. Take it away, Nicholas.
Oh, land of beauty, our country where peace abounds, thy children stand free on the strength of will and love, with God in all our struggles. St. Kitts and Nevis be a nation bound together with our common destiny. At stalwart we stand for justice and liberty, with wisdom and truth. nor spear can conquer. For God we sure defend. His blessing shall forever to posterity extend.
Absolutely phenomenal, Nicholas. Absolutely phenomenal. Thank you so much. I am moved by that. I want an encore presentation. You guys are going to have to wait because we're going to get it in the studio. You won't. So we want to thank you for joining us for another edition of GMSKN, the Independence Edition, since Independence is coming up on Monday. So we'll be back on Tuesday, but thank you for joining us. Of course, follow us on our social media platforms at Studio 327 Inc. and, of course, on Instagram at Good Morning SKN. So we're on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Like, subscribe, follow, and share.
Yes, and we always invite you to leave us a comment and let us know what was your favorite part of today's show. And this is where we say, as Jamie said, see you on Tuesday at 8 a.m. when you will start your morning with us right here on Good Morning SKN. Happy Independence to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, and to all our residents and national in the diaspora. Have a great day, guys, and thanks for watching.